we're going to quickly move through now is hopefully it provide you with a little bit of a further understanding of grades. So you may have received your grade back and not quite understood why you fell into that category. But a really useful template that I use when I'm marking is the undergraduate assessment criteria. And so when I'm uncertain about grading assignments, then I'll always fall back on this template to demonstrate, well, actually, have they done this? Has the student done that? And then I'll mark them accordingly. So fail grades or compensate fail are 30 to 39 and non-compensatable fails are 0 to 29%. So if you've achieved a grade or you've not passed the assignment, it's because you have done this. Okay, you've not critically or conceptually analysed of any subject matter whatsoever with total reliance on others' work. So you may have plagiarised work or you may have copied large sections from websites. Only basic issues used in teaching a conclusion, and those are insufficient and contains inappropriate material or inadequate information. The research or investigations incorporated in the product are very restricted and inadequate. And then the presentation is flawed and uncertain. So remember, we're talking about the maybe or barriers could or should. Well, actually, that's what we mean there. So presentation is flawed or not quite certain. And ultimately, you don't answer the question or anything similar to it. So you've been provided with a question within the assessment cover sheet, and you've provided your piece of work, and it doesn't actually match up and you're not answering the question. Well, actually, you're not going to pass the assignment. So moving into the third class grades, so if you've got between 40 and 49, you more than likely have met this criteria. So it's very little critical or conceptual analysis of the subject matter with considerable reliance on easy and readily available solutions or arguments. So access to websites or documents or lecture slides, information. That's what one states at the top there. Few of the relevant issues used as a basis for reaching a conclusion. So you've kind of skimmed straight through the barriers, not many barriers, and just come to a conclusion at the end. Very limited research or investigation incorporated into the product. So minimal academic sources have been highlighted throughout. Does not answer the question directly and omits important information or contains information inaccuracies, asserts without supporting evidence. So if you haven't used the Sport England data to demonstrate participation levels, you've not created the characteristics of your target group within that first section, you're kind of assuming that groups don't participate, but you're not providing the evidence. That might be a good example there. And presentation has minimal organisation and exploits chosen medium superficially. Now 50 to 59%. So here there's some critical and conceptual analysis of issues with a tendency to rely on others' arguments or solutions. Generally, there's accurate exposition or treatment of material with some omissions or errors. So partial review of relevant issues in reaching a conclusion. Here, the majority of you that have sat within this grade band have demonstrated some tendency, or there is some evidence of critical writing, which is fantastic. However, it's not a common thread. There's just only very small examples. Careful but limited research or investigation incorporated into the product, so minimal references. Clear presentation but showing very limited recognition of the potential of the chosen medium. So maybe you've used bullet points in some sections, or you've incorporated a graph. A good answer to a related question but not the one set. Here, if you've got a 60 to 69, well done. Demonstrates a critical and conceptual analysis of the issue. Accurate and well-informed expression or treatment of material. Coherent critical thinking applied to a problem solving. You've reviewed most of the relevant issues in teaching a conclusion. You have assiduous but not especially broad or deep research or investigation informs the product. and well-informed and structured presentation shows understanding of the constraints of the chosen medium. So you've met that criteria. Now, if you've achieved over 70%, you meet this criteria. You've demonstrated a sophisticated critical and conceptual analysis of the issues. You've individuality of expression or treatment of material. Innovative thinking applied to problem solving. You have incorporated a comprehensive review of relevant issues in arriving at a conclusion. Extensive research or investigation incorporated effectively into your product. Now that could mean that you've done academic sources, you've done industry case study examples, you may have undertaken primary research, so you going out and undertaking your own research, but understanding how to reference that accordingly is really important. And then clarity of argument, so expression or presentation that demonstrates a subtle understanding of the chosen medium. Now it's really important here that if you have achieved a 56, then you would be looking to, right, what do I need to do to make it a 60 plus? So you should always be looking to aspire to go on to that next category or that next grade. Okay, so make that a personal action plan for you to see how you need to structure your assignment next time to allow you to do that. And if you're going to go on to the top-up degree, you're going to be asked to do further essays and longer essays. So this was a 2,500 word. It won't be anything unusual to be writing 3,000 word plus essays within the top-up year. So this document is really useful for you to understand how you're going to take it to the next level. And remember, it's all marked the same because this is undergraduate. So anything below graduation of the 3-year BSc is marked like this. We're going to attribute the final section of today's session to studying for the multiple choice questionnaire, which you're going to undertake when you come down on residential. The content from lectures 17 to 23 and supporting documents within the following areas is the content that you'll need to study in preparation for that MCQ. And that is the older generation, LGBT, the case study that we covered on Street Football Wales, the case study that was delivered, or the workshop that was delivered by Ali Mahoney on LGBT Cymru, and the lecture that was delivered on football partnerships. So the content from all of the slides you'll need to have a good understanding of. You'll also need to have a very good understanding of the supporting resources that are provided with each of those learning materials folders. Now, I can't underline the importance of this test enough. The result of this test could determine whether you pass this module or not. Some of you are borderline that failed the essay, still have an opportunity to bring that mark up and pass the overall module if you pass this third MCQ. Those of you who scored extremely highly in the first 2 multiple choice questionnaires and have passed your essay and got 60s, this test could be the difference between you getting 60s or 70s within this assignment. So I can't underline enough how important this test is to you. Support you in the preparation for this test. I want you to watch the 3 exam preparation videos on Blackboard. Use the remainder of this session to structure an approach to revision that will be most effective for you. So I've provided some tools on there, but you've got to be able to adapt to those or adopt which one is going to be most effective for you, because we're all different. This may include printing off all study material or saving it all into one place on your computer, or it could be arranging study groups with your peers over the next few weeks up until your residential visit. So either way, all I want you to do is watch those support tools on Blackboard. Take this opportunity to gather the information together so that it's easily accessible, or you can easily study it for the residential visit. I wish you every success for that test, and I really look forward to seeing you on your residential trip.